Good morning everyone. Today we are going to see operating system unit 4 session 6. In the previous session we have studied structure of a table, and from that we have studied hierarchical paging, and in today's session we are going to study hash page table. So we use this structure of page tables because when the system configuration size increases, that is logical address space increases. So it can be more than 32 bits, 64 bits, or even more than 64 bits. So in such machine configurations, the logical address space increases, it becomes more. And as we all know that in the main memory we store the page table. So in such large machines, even the page table size increases. So to store the page table in a main memory, it is going to be occupy more memory. So if all the memory is occupied by the page table, suppose if there are hundreds of processes and then there are hundreds of page tables, and if all of the main memory is occupied by the page tables, then it is very difficult to execute the processes. So to overcome this, the structure of page tables are used. We already seen hierarchical paging, now we'll see hash page tables. So even hash page table is used to reduce the size of the page table which is stored in the main memory. So in a hash page table, the page table's hash value is generated, and according to that unique value, according to that hash value, it is stored in the page table, and the data in this page table are organized in a linked list form. Hash page table handles the address space larger than 32 bits. Virtual page number is used as hash values. So we have already seen the CPU generates two types of parts, that is page number and offset. Now this page number is going to be the input for the hash function. Linked list is used in the hash table. So once the unique values are generated, then those are organized in the form of a linked list in a hash table. Each entry contains the linked list of elements that hash to the same location. Each element in the hash table contains following fields. So in the hash table you can find out three entries there. One is the virtual page number, logical address, logical page number it is. Then frame value, where that particular process is stored in which frame. And then pointer to the next field. So it is going to give the address of the next linked list. So this is the diagram of hash page table. So CPU generates two parts, page number and offset. It is nothing but instruction number which it wants to execute. Then this page number is given the input to the hash function. Then the hash function generates the unique value. Now suppose the page number is 12. Then after a hash function, it generates some unique value like 1, 2, 3. So the unique value, that entry will be searched here in the, now suppose it is a 3, then that will be searched here. So it goes to the hash table, and there you can find out the data arranged in a linked list form. So this 3 will be compared with the linked list for whichever it matches. Then for whichever it matches, then that frame number will be taken. So we find out here three entries. One is the page number, and next is a frame number, and next it is a next linked list address. So frame number will be taken and it will be added with the instruction number offset, and then the physical address will be generated. So this is how, based on the hash unique value, the entry will be found out in the hash table. When it matches with the linked list, then it will get added with the frame number will get added with the offset, and the physical address will be generated. So working is like virtual page number is taken from virtual address. Virtual page number is hashed into the hash table. Virtual page number is compared with the first element of linked list. Both the value is matched here. That is, whenever the unique value generated, that is matched with the entry in the hash table. Then if both values are matched, the entire linked list is searched for the matching, and then the frame number will be taken and will be added. Next we'll see inverted page table. So even this inverted page table we use for large machines where the logical address space is more. Now here, as we all know that there are multiple processes, many processes, and many processes has many page tables. Now suppose there are 3 processes, then each process has 3 page tables, and that will be stored in the main memory. So now suppose the process 1 takes 3 pages, and process 2 takes 2 pages, and process 3 takes 4 pages. Then for every page number, the numbers will be given. That is for process 1. For another process, there are again same page numbers. For another process, there are again same page numbers. So the whichever page the process wants to execute, only that page will be brought up to the main memory. Inverted page table, only one table is maintained in the main memory, and this table we call it as global table. So in an inverted page table, one table is maintained as a global page table, and this table will be used for executing the processes. So whichever pages has to be executed by the processes, that page's entry will be made in the page table. So now like page tables has to be, this is page number 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So these are the page table which has to be executed, but this page 1 is of which process? It is of process P1, P2 or P3. So that has to be understood. That's why even here one more entry is made here, that is process ID. So this page 1 is of process P1. So one more entry is made here, process IDs. So this page 2 is of process P2. So this page 4 is of process P4. So like this way, the page entries are stored, along with that even process IDs are stored, so that we'll understand that page belongs to which process. As it is a global table, only one page will be used in the operating system. So here searching will be done. So searching is done here. Each page has to be searched here for which process it belongs. So little bit it is going to take some time to search it, little bit slow response because it needs to search the pages here. And here also you find out the frame numbers. Frame entry is also there here. Frame numbers are taken here as a index numbers. So then this frame number will be taken and will be added with the offset, and the physical address will be generated. So as address spaces have grown to 64 bits, even with 2-level page tables, then the table themselves become too large. So sometimes even if the systems are more than 64 bits configuration, then even if you apply the 2-level page algorithms or the scheme, even in this case the page table size will not reduce. Inverted page table is used to solve this problem. The inverted page table has one entry for each real page of memory. So this is the diagram of inverted page table. Now here CPU generates 3 parts here. One is the process ID and page number and instruction number. So process ID we need here to understand which process page number it wants to execute, as there is going to be a global one single page table in the main memory. So 2 entries are stored here. One is the process ID and one is the page number entry, and outside we can find out here index number, that is frame numbers. So these are frame numbers index. So the CPU tells the process IDs with page number and the instruction number, that will be searched in that page table, and then the frame number will be taken. Okay, that is index number will be taken. I is nothing but that index number will be added with the instruction number, and we'll get the physical address for execution. Then the CPU executes that page. wherever it is in the main memory after occupying the address. So next concept we'll see segmentation. So segmentation is also a type of non-contiguous memory allocation. So in a segmentation, as we've seen in the paging, the process is divided into the partitions, pages. Same here, the process is divided into segments. That means small units. So the process is divided into small units, and these units can be of any size. It is not a fixed size. As we have seen in the paging, the pages were of fixed size. Now in the segmentation, the process which is broken into small units, it is not of fixed size, it can be of any size. Then how this division is made, how that process is broken into small units. So memory management scheme that supports user view of memory. So now suppose this program is a process which wants to execute, is a collection of segments. A segment is a logical unit such as, see, a main program can be treated as a segments. In the procedure, function, these all are broken into small units and those are treated as a segments. Methods can be the segments, objects can be the segments, and local variables, if you declare 3 variables, then 3 variables are segments. Now suppose if there are 3 objects, then these are all 3 objects are segments. Symbol table, arrays. So like so that program is broken into small units and will be brought up for the execution. And these segments can be placed anywhere in the physical memory. As it is a non-contiguous manner, memory utilization should be proper. So the these segments can be placed anywhere in the main memory for execution. So can we see here, the process has the logical address and that process is broken down into small segments. You can see here that process is broken into small segment, like if you're using the square root function in that, then it is a segment. If there is a stack, then it is a segment. Main program is taken as another segment, small unit. And now this can be brought up to the main memory for execution. Now in this example, you can see this is a logical address space. And here you can find out the segments. The process is divided into segments. This is a segment 1, segment 0, segment 1, 2 and 3. So these all segments belongs to one process. Now this process has to be executed. Now this can be placed anywhere in the physical memory. But where those are placed in the physical memory? So wherever there is a memory available and within that memory if that segment fits, then it is taken for execution. For that, to understand where these segments are placed, segment table is needed. So like how we need the page tables. So from the page table we understand in which frames those pages are placed. Same here. Now on which address the segments are placed. What is their starting address and what is their ending address, we need to understand. Which address they are occupied in the memory until where they are going to occupy. So these are all information we need and this information we can get from the segment table. So there are 2 entries in the segment table. One is the base address and one is the limit register. Now see this segment 0. Segment 0, you can see its base address. It starts occupying from the 500th place location. And what is its ending address? It is 1100. How we got this? It is limit register still. Limit register is nothing but the size of the segment. What is the size of that? If this is the base address and if you see the size of that, if you add this in a segment, you will get here 1100. That is 500 plus 600. You will get here ending address of that segment. 500 plus 600, you will get the ending address, that is 1100 here. So from this information we will get from the segment table starting address and ending address. Similarly, you can also check out of segment 1. It has stored in the location 2500. And what is the size of that segment? 800. When you add it, then this is the ending address of that segment. So this is the starting and ending where that segment is stored. So like this, wherever there is a memory space and if that segment fits there, it can be utilized. Another example, you can see this is the segments of a particular process and it is placed in logical address in various segments. Placed in physical address in various segments of the memory. Segmentation is a memory management scheme. It divides a program into a number of smaller blocks called segments. A segment can be defined as a logical grouping of information such as a subroutine, array or data. It can be divided based on the methods, functions, arrays, etc. As I told you, segmentation is of variable size. It is not a fixed size. So segments based on their size, it is divided. It is not a fixed size. Segmentation is similar to dynamic partitioning because of the unequal size segments, as every segments are of unequal size. Segmentation eliminates internal fragmentation, but it suffers from external fragmentation. So it will eliminate internal and external fragmentation, but it suffers from external fragmentation. Students, segments are formed at programs translation by grouping together logically related items. So this is what we have studied in this segmentation, and the remaining part we'll see in the next topic, next session. Thank you.